Hello, welcome to the video. So hope you're having a great day. So there's a lot of talk right now about bodily assumption of Mary. A lot of videos on YouTube right now. And I looked into it, and I'm just going to give my 2 cents on it here. So according to Catholic Answers here, they're quoting Saint Epiphanes. I don't know if I pronounced that right. A lot of vowels there, but anyway. It says here, like the bodies of saints, however, she has been held in honor for her character and understanding. And if I should say anything more in her praise, she, like Elijah, who was virgin from the mother's womb, always remained so taken up, but had not seen death. And so Tim Staples here says, however, why didn't the earliest church father address the assumption? Staples notes this teaching wasn't an issue for them because the doctrine wasn't being intact. It didn't need to be defended. So there's a problem with his statement here. Is the writing of Saint Epiphanius, is he defending a current doctrine that existed, or are you creating something new? So when we look at this carefully here, first of all, we don't even know if he actually wrote this, if it had been modified. And here's one of the reasons why I say that. If we go to the timeline here, this is supposed to be in 350 AD. That was a time there was a lot of rewriting of church history taking place. You have book burnings going on earlier on. So we don't know that he actually wrote this, okay? Let's see here. So for all we know, it could have been that he wrote this, and then this was added later on. Somebody modified it, and just added. And if I should say anything more in her praise, okay, she like Elijah, okay. So how can Staples say the doctrine was being attacked because it didn't need to be defended? This is the first writing that we find of any such statement about Mary going up into heaven, okay? There was a bishop in the year 200 who claimed he saw Mary's tomb empty. How do you know that was Mary's tomb in the year 200? That's an assumption of itself. So we know that there are no eyewitnesses to this. Nobody wrote it down. Nobody purchased the papyrus to write this down, see this, see that they saw it. We know Elijah, that has been documented. He went up to heaven. We know Jesus ascended, went up to heaven. So my take is Elijah is a foreshadow of Jesus, not so much Mary. But what's interesting is, so if God had it recorded for those two to go to heaven, why didn't God have it recorded for Mary? Now, let's say it's true that Mary really did go to heaven. What value does it give to a believer? Why didn't God write it down? Why didn't he find it important enough? Why didn't anybody find it important enough if they saw it? So something that significant, you would think somebody would have written down, whoa, I saw Mary ascended, okay? And the fact of the matter is, here's somebody in the year 350, writing this in the year 350, okay, wasn't there. Just the earliest that we have. We need to look at it carefully, okay? So it says here, and if I should say anything more in her praise, say anything more in her praise. So that tells me he's adding something of value, right, in his mind of value, whoever wrote this, okay? She was like Elijah, who was virgin from the mother's womb, always remained so taken up, but had not seen death. Alrighty, so if it says I should not say anything more in her praise, he's not defending existing doctrine. He's not agreeing with anybody here of this belief. It looked like he's just literally adding anything more in her praise. And if I should say anything more in her praise. So it'd be like, I don't know, like Michael Jordan, and I'm going to add something more in her praise. He jumped where his finger touched a 15-foot mark, adding more to the praise of his jumping ability. I don't know. Okay, I'm making a positive claim here. uh, that I observed firsthand perspective. Okay, I can't say that if so. Michael Jordan around in the 80s and 90s. You can't take somebody in the year 2300 and make that claim. I am more praised that he jumped 15 feet as if I saw it. So he's writing here as if he saw this. And he wasn't even there. And that's the common problem I see a lot of church fathers. Again, you go back to church fathers here. You have all these writings in red. This is the time of Peter until the 4th century. You have all these writings in red, first-hand perspective, and not one single one of them were there. That's not a problem. It's amazing how many people, particularly Roman Catholics, who just do not see there's an issue with that. So anyway, yeah, so this was by St. Phineas, however you pronounce it, after the time of Eusebius, and she's familiar with my channel. I'm convinced that Eusebius did a lot of rewriting history. That is not to say, and I said this before, that is not to say that it stopped with him. Okay, there's evidence that later on they did not have a pope. Yeah, right around this time here, they had a meeting. There was the emperor that acted as person had final authority over doctrine. I would suggest there was no pope at the time. So anyway, would suggest that later on, when the first person who claimed to be pope in history that referred themselves to pope years later, suggest that they had to rewrite history to make it look all natural, okay, pure all natural. And when you look at the scriptures, it just does not fit. For those who look at the scriptures objectively from the inside out. So anyway, yeah, so how can he say because the doctrine was being attacked when it didn't even exist? It didn't need to be defended. How can you say that if there's no evidence even existed in the first place? Okay, so yeah, there was a bishop in the year 200 who claimed he saw the tomb empty, but I don't think he said anything about, oh, Mary just went to heaven or anything like that. So anyway, so this suggests to me that this has been modified, been added, very likely. I'm not saying with 100% certainty, but there's a good chance that this has been added. At some point they had a conversation about Mary. Oh, let's just, it's all part of that narrative, Mother of God, The Bible never referred to her Mother of God. I have a video on that. So anyway, yeah, so they're just my thoughts. This is just, there's so many problems with this. Yeah, again, according to them, written around 350. Okay. Taking up bodily just as the church continued to teach 1600 years later. Okay, well, but it did not become dogma until Pope Pius XII, I think in the year 1950. He made a dogma through ex cathedra. Okay, so he's not interpreting any particular passage of scripture here. He's just taking something that was written, fallible sources, non-inspired sources, and creating dogma out of it. So you can't say ex cathedra is infallible interpreting. There's not a single verse that says anything about it. So how can you be infallibly interpreting if there's not a single verse that says anything about it? So that has to be extra biblical revelation. Then you have to claim that, well, the canon never was closed to begin with. The problem just goes on and on. So anyway, those are my 2 cents. Yeah, I think I responded to one of the videos here. The person's a little defensive, but yeah. So again, if there's any value to this, would God agree with it, knowing he's not recorded like Elijah and Jesus? I mean, God and sovereignty, and the people back then, if they actually eyewitnesses to this, and if they thought it was important enough, even still, I mean, the fact that they see something like that, they would have written it down. They would have purchased the big money for papyrus and would have written it down. I mean, and preserved it. You would think. You know. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Yeah, just looking at what's written here. Again, and if I should say anything more in her praise, he's not defending a doctrine here. He's just trying to add more to her praise here. So yeah, and it's writing from a first-person perspective here. And he wasn't even there. And again, that's to me that's a consistent pattern I see with the writing of Eusebius in his ecclesiastical histories. All these little paragraph chapters, a small little chapter written from perspective. He wasn't there. It seems to be the consistent pattern that we see, which should raise the red flag with people, but people just want to believe what they want to believe. So, all right, thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day.